The panels that you see over there, inside the panel there is nothing but just a copper tube. Okay, copper tube which is painted black and water is flowing through it. So the whole day the water flows through the thing and it's exposed to sunshine, so it gets hot. It goes up to 60 degrees, 70 degrees kind of temperature and goes back and sits in that tank that you see at the back. The tank is insulated, so the water retains the temperature and it's connected to the tap in your bathroom. So next morning when you open the bathroom tap, you get water at 60 degrees kind of temperature, which is much hotter than what you require, because you basically require 40, 35. So you mix cold water and then you use it.
So actually it is only useful in the winters season.
Sorry?
This technology is going to work only in the winter season, when we are going to require the hot water, not in summer.
No, absolutely. So what will happen is that it will give you water 365 days a year, but you in North India will not use hot water for having a bath for more than 3 months in a year, isn't it? So maximum 4 months. So maybe November, December, January, February is when you have a hot water bath, and after that, after Holi, nobody has a hot water bath. So what we say is that there are two ways to address this question. One is, of course, that this is true only of North India. So the market in South India, and that's where the solar water heater market is, by the way. So if you go to Bangalore or Pune, this is a very popular product, because Bangalore wala person uses hot water bath 365 days a year. So for him the economics works out perfectly fine, because otherwise he's spending so much money on the electricity bill, because he's running a geyser in his bathroom every morning, right? So he's burning electricity worth 500 rupees a month. So in 1 year he is burning electricity of 6,000 rupees. 3 years, 18,000 rupees. 18,000 rupees I can give you a solar water heater anyway. So that is the simple economics. So I say that you take a 18,000 rupees ka solar water heater from me, 3 years money is back, and after that you are using it free of cost. In North India it's difficult to give the same example, because even if it's 500 rupees a month, it's only 4 months, so that's 2,000 rupees. So that means your payback becomes much longer. But what we say is that in North India we actually focus more on institutional clients, which means, for example, let's say hospitals, hotels, restaurants, process industries where hot water is needed, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, textiles, leather, wherever hot water is required, industrial canteens. So wherever you need hot water, this is the way to go. It's really inefficient economically and environmentally very bad to be generating electricity by burning coal. Then you transmit that electricity over hundreds of kilometers. 35% is lost in transmission and distribution. Then in your home, that electrical energy is converted into heat energy in your electrical coil. Okay, and then you get water at 60-70 degrees. Again you mix cold water, you bring it to 30 degrees, and then you have water bath with it. How inefficient is that system, isn't it? Whereas here you are doing nothing, you just put up the thing and it's maintenance free, there is no moving part, there is nothing to be done. You have to add nothing, you have to subtract nothing. It is just lying there, connected to the tap. Every day the water comes, goes into the tank, sits there for the night, and next morning you get hot water. It's pretty good. In the pre-lunch session there was another speaker who showed a very good looking film, a 3-minute film, where people from Haryana, rural areas, customers from Haryana, they were giving their voice of how their life has changed after solar water heaters. Anyway, more examples. The one in the middle is that's something you guys as engineering students should look at. This is looking like the facade of a building, isn't it? But please note, the panels over there are not glass panels.
Photovoltaic.
These are photovoltaic panels. That is the beauty of this. So the building looks very good, and the facade, actually the panels on the facade, they serve the twin purpose of being a glass but also generating power. So 30 to 40% of the power requirement of this building is actually coming from the facade of the building. In other words, the power bill of the building would have gone down by that much amount. More examples on rooftops, in open field, etc. and now we are making these, we are installing these megawatt scale plants. The one you see is with the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, Mrs. Sheila Dikshit. She inaugurated 1 megawatt plant that we have done for NDPL, North Delhi Power Limited. So this plant, as you can see, is actually not on the ground. We've created a structure for it, and on the top of that structure we've gone and put up the panels, because below the structure is a kind of storehouse of the NDPL. This place is actually the central store of NDPL, where they keep their transformers and cables and switches and all the other electrical items. And this piece of land is the only land they had under their charge. And this is very, very expensive land, very, very expensive. It's in a place called Keshavpuram in Delhi. 3 acres of land, which is about 300 crores, 360 crores. Why would they give it to anybody, and why would they use that for solar power plant? But they wanted to put up a solar power plant. So then this is the kind of innovation that we did with them. And we came up with the idea, we said, listen, we'll create a roof for you, and on the top of the roof we'll go out and put the panels. Yeah. So you can still use your store. In fact, your store will therefore get a roof on top of its head. And on the roof, please give us the roof. On that roof we'll go and put our panels. This is what we've done. The other picture that you see on the left hand side is a 3 megawatt plant we've done for Tata Power in Pune, in a place called Mulshi, which is now, I think next week we are going to inaugurate it. So this is the overall picture of solar power, which I thought I'll give you. Not gone in too much into solar cells and all that, because for that I need to prepare separately. I mean, I have the presentations here, but there's no time. And I thought it's more important, especially since you are a separate set of audience, so it's more important to kind of give you a overall perspective on what the issues are in terms of the climate change and global warming that we face in the world today. What are the issues that India has to grapple with, and how can we address those issues using sources that are available to us in terms of renewable energy. And since my company works in the field of solar energy, that's what we know best. So I thought I'll give you some specific examples of what we are already doing and what is possible, so that it sets off a train of thought in your mind and makes you think about what all is possible and what all we should be doing. So this is a little general presentation on solar. If you have any specific questions, I'll answer them and then I'll move. Yeah, thank you.
JNN SSM, Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission, has grown in its starting phase, that we have a mission to up to in 12 phase.
What happened is the Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission was launched in 2010. It is for 12 years, ends in 2022, and the whole 12-year period is divided into 3 phases. First phase is currently going on, ends in March 2013. The second phase is 13 to 17, and the last phase is 17 to 22. Okay, and they have put out they've divided the 20,000 megawatts in a very intelligent way. They've said in the first 3 years you do only 1,000 megawatts. In the next block of 4 years you do 4,000 megawatts, and the remaining 15,000 you do in the end. Why? So if you plot it on a graph, it goes like this. Boom. Why? Why they have put it like this? Why they have backloaded the whole thing? Is because solar power cost currently is very high, right? And the cost is coming down year after year. Like it happens in all industries. You have seen it happen in IT, you have seen it happen in consumer electronics, you have seen it happen in telecom and mobile phones. So there is no reason why it will not come down in the case of solar energy products. It is already coming down. I have seen it myself. I have been in this company only for 3 years, and in 3 years the thing has come down by 40%, 50%, which is very, very rapid. 50%, if you plot it on a graph, it's like this. Too fast for somebody's comfort. So cost is coming down, and therefore the government says that we don't want to lock ourselves into committing to buy power from you guys at a rate which is very high. So we would rather buy it from you when the cost has come down. That's the game. So right now it's 1000 megawatts. Out of that 1000 megawatts, what they've done is they've said, in the beginning I told you about solar photovoltaics and solar thermal. So these are two different technologies, right? And what I didn't manage to show you, but you know, solar thermal in itself is a big chapter. It's a big set of things that you have to understand. So solar thermal is not just about water heaters. Water heaters is a small thing.
That part of it.
If I look at it as an MBA, water heaters is a small 5% of my market. I don't care. 95% is power generation. Power generation from solar thermal route is also a big play. Is a big play because government has said 50% of the solar mission targets will be met by going through the solar thermal route. Reliance is putting up a 100 megawatt solar thermal plant in Rajasthan. Lanco is putting up another 100 megawatts, and so on and so forth. Okay. What happens in solar thermal is that you have an array of glasses and mirrors which you lay out. Okay, in a circular fashion with a tower in the center. Okay, which contains water. And these lenses are put in such an angle that the sunlight which falls on it is reflected back onto the tower. So the tower receives the sunlight radiated back from hundreds and thousands of glasses and mirrors. So the water heats up and goes all the way to 350, 400 degrees. So steam is generated at that kind of temperature. Now once you have steam generated at that kind of temperature, you can put that steam into a turbine, and after that it's the rest of the power generation process is the same. Once you can run a turbine, you know, how do you generate power? You run a turbine. How do you run a turbine? You either supply steam to it or you run through something else, right? So this is what is happening. Solar thermal power plants are coming up in a big way. 500 megawatts through solar PV, 500 megawatts through solar thermal. This is the target which all the projects have all been allocated already, except about 250 megawatts of solar PV which will be allocated now in the next 6 months. But rest of the thing is well on track, and the plan is that the government says that if the first phase mission targets are achieved well in time, there is no doubt that the second phase will be launched. I mean, we are 100% sure second phase will be launched. And they've played a little game in terms of saying that the third phase will only be launched if we get international finance and technology. That's a little clever play that the government is doing in order to get some finance, you know, international finance from developed countries. So we'll see. I mean, that is in 2015, 16, 17. We'll look at that. Right now, I'm happy to say everything is on track. As we go and install the projects, there are problems which are coming up in terms of financing and all that. Indian banks are not yet ready to give loans. Indian banks are not yet ready to give loans to solar power projects because they don't know the technology, they don't believe, they haven't seen a solar power project. They say, भाई तुम कहते हो चलेगा, मुझे क्या भरोसा चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा? तुम कहते हो 25 साल चलेगा, मुझे क्या भरोसा चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा? तुम कहते हो मैं गारंटी देता हूँ 25 साल के बाद की बात छोड़ो, 5 साल बाद में तुम्हारी कंपनी बंद हो गई तो मेरा क्या होगा? You know, so there are issues, there are all kinds of problems. Yesterday's Financial Express, if you see, my boss has given an interview. So there is an interview of Tata BP Solar CEO where all these issues are addressed. Okay. Any other question? Kunal, you are looking very bored.
No, sir.
You are very tired.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will spare you. This is the last question.
Sir,
Yes.
which process is more efficient?
Solar thermal companies swear by solar thermal. It all depends. There are so many ifs and buts. Because solar thermal, if you hybridize it, meaning that a solar thermal plant coupled with gas, for example, would be very efficient. The PLF can go up to 30%. But a PLF, a solar thermal plant without any other source can be very, very dangerous because the technology is that the steam has to hit 350 degrees. Then only it will be able to run a turbine. What happens if there is a cloud cover? And cloud cover will happen, right? So you will not be able to hit 350 degrees, turbine will not run, your whole thing is standing still. So it's a yes or no kind of situation in thermal. In PV what happens is that even if you have cloudy day, some photons are still striking the semiconductor material. So the power generation is still happening, the output may be slightly less. So that's one major issue when you are comparing the efficiencies of the two. The second issue when you are comparing the efficiencies is that in the case of solar photovoltaics, I mean, you know, in India, in both the cases, dust will be a major factor because these projects are all in the open. They are in Rajasthan, you know, desert, Gujarat desert, etc. Dust will come, dust will settle down. Dust will create a film, right? Dust will create a film on the panel, which will block the sunlight from getting onto the thing, right? So that much of inefficiency will come in. Now the straight panels of the PV, they are easier to clean, and in most cases we anticipate that in the desert areas when dust comes, the same dust which will come by the wind will also be blown away by the wind. Correct? But in the case of thermal